Alright, on to a far superior film. Another thing that came out recently is Ant-Man. So, I am one of the biggest Marvel geeks in the world. I have been counting down the days till I could see this movie. I saw it opening weekend and I was really happy with it. It was no Iron Man. It didn't blow me away or change my life. He's not my favorite superhero, but I can honestly say I am psyched to see him in more Marvel movies. I'm psyched to see him in Civil War, possibly set up at the end. There's going to be spoilers in this, so watch out for that. So, this guy, okay, so you meet our lead, and he is played by Paul Rudd, who does a great job, who I've seen in a couple other things. He always does a great job. Who was great in Parks and Rec is the last thing I watched him, and he was so funny. So he's a thief. He's kind of a Robin Hood type thief. He looks to kind of right wrongs. He steals from the rich. He's not really trying to hurt anyone, but that's what he does. That's his income, and he's got a little girl who has, so he's gone to jail. He got caught, one of his robberies got figured out, they got caught, so he's gone to jail, and it's put a lot of strain on his relationship with his daughter, which means the world to him. So when he's offered this opportunity to become the Ant-Man and to do something good for the world and for his daughter, even though he's kind of petrified of the suit itself and the experience of being in the suit, he takes the opportunity anyway because he will do literally anything for his little girl, which is really nice and sweet. If a little bit, and by a little bit I mean a lot, cliche. So he breaks into the house where the Ant-Man suit is being held. He steals the Ant-Man suit, and the guy who owns the Ant-Man suit has been watching him for a while and thinks he has great potential, and he wants to put him in the Ant-Man suit so he can stop the bad guys who are kind of working with Hydra. A little shout out to stuff that's canon in the other Marvel movies, from creating similar technology that they would use for Hydra stuff. So we have this character. He's going to be the Ant-Man, and his enemy is going to be this guy called Yellow Jacket, which is the suit that the Hydra people have made, or they're not Hydra, but they might sell to Hydra. So the only problem though that they have is that they have yet to figure out how to shrink organic matter. They've done non-living things, but they kind of graphically kill some people, one person and a couple sheep and stuff, which is kind of gross. They just turn into this like goo stuff. So that's kind of their time limit. He has to train to become the Ant-Man before these guys figure out how to shrink organic matter. So there's also the guy who has created the Ant-Man suit, who you find out was the original Ant-Man, has a daughter, and she kind of works undercover she's double-crossing the bad guy, really trying to help what her father wants, but pretending to be on the bad guy's side. So she, over and over in the movie, is asking, I know the facility, I know the bad guy's plans, I know the Ant-Man suit, I am a strong woman, why isn't it me? So you find out later in the movie that for a very cliche reason of he lost her mother to the Wasp suit. He doesn't want his daughter in the Ant-Man suit. He can't stand to lose her the same way he lost his wife, which is, although justified, is very, very cliche. So a lot of people were upset that Wasp wasn't gonna be either in this movie or main focus of this movie or something like that, and they can take a little bit of comfort in the fact that we kind of get two Wasps instead of just one. Yeah, it sucks that there's another Marvel movie with the leading man being some white dude that looks pretty much the same as everyone else, but and it would have been great to have a female lead, But we get the backstory of her mother being a very strong woman that sacrificed herself to save a lot of people, and even though that doesn't quite replace what it would mean to have a strong female character present in the movie, that's at least something they didn't forget about the Wasp. And then even more so, one of the post-credit scenes is the Wasp suit being presented to the inventor's daughter and saying like, okay, this suit is for you. So it is very well set up that we will have Wasp in all her glory in a future movie. It sucks that we didn't get it right away, but we did get to meet the woman that would become the Wasp, and she was presented as incredibly intelligent, incredibly strong, and someone that you should really look forward to seeing more of. There's a little, her and Paul Rudd kiss at the end of the movie, which was kind of unnecessary, but it's forgivable. It's not a big deal. It's not like some whole romantic plot that they forced in, but it does mean that they're probably going to be a really good pair moving forward in the future. And they're going to have to be if they're going to work as a pair together as the Ant-Man and the Wasp. So the one thing that going into this movie really concerned me was I thought his powers were going to be like bullshit. I didn't think I was going to get on board with a guy that can shrink being on the same team as Thor and Vision, and being on the same team as Thor and Vision and Iron Man and even the Falcon, who has one of the best cameos ever. And it was that scene exactly that proved to me that the Ant-Man, whose power is literally just like shrinking, can kick some ass. He's pretty good. He fought Falcon, who one of my favorite characters. I love the actor, I love the character. He's funny, he can really help kick some ass. His dynamic with Cap is amazing. So seeing him kind of get his ass kicked really proved to me that Ant-Man can be useful. I think I hadn't put together in my head that his fighting style could be, like, his strength could be how he can switch from big to little, not just that he can get little. I thought basically when he was fighting crime he was gonna be quarter-inch tall, and that's really not how it works. He really switches back and forth, and when he needs to be big, he's big, but when he needs his enemy to lose him, not be able to find him, when he needs to fly away, he's small. And the way they do it is so genius, and you don't get lost in the fight sequences, even though it's kind of a weird thing to film. It's all filmed very well, and you can totally tell what's going on the whole time. And you can really feel that size change. When they make the point to show what it's like for Paul Rudd in the Ant-Man suit, and I know that his character has a name, but I cannot think of it. I'm just going to call him Paul Rudd. But when you see him small, trying to navigate the world as a small being, you really feel the challenge of it, the freedom of it, and how different it is from being a normal-sized human. It's really, really well done. Oh, what else do I have to say about that movie? Okay, the last thing I have to say about this movie is there are some great one-liners. It's mostly Paul Rudd's character. But every once in a while he'll throw in something like he hears that this shrinking technology could get in the hands of Hydra, or he just hears that it's not going to be used for great things, and he just turns and goes, I think our first move should be to call the Avengers. And that's just like the funniest line. Like, yeah, this is a universe where the Avengers exist. Their job is to stop bad people from doing bad things. Let's call them up. And then the other guy, the guy that invented the Ant-Man suit, is just kind of like, yeah, I think they're busy. Another great moment is when the Ant-Man is sent in to steal something from a storage facility, and he gets there and he sees it is the new Avengers base, which they have just set up in a very recent movie. And seeing that kind of throwback mixed with the cameo from Anthony Mackie was the type of thing you really want to see when you go into a Marvel movie. So I'm just going to say, in the end, it's a great movie. Go see it. Enjoy it. It's not the best movie Marvel has ever made, but that's some pretty rough competition when you've got things like Iron Man and Avengers against. I think it's doing well in the box office, a little bit less well than they expected, but it's still #1 in the box office. Not the biggest Marvel release, but it's doing well, so give it money, support it. We want to see the Wasp, and the more you put into Ant-Man, probably the more likely it is that we'll get to see the Wasp in all her glory. So I rate it as a great movie. Check it out. Thanks!